Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, I talk to Inez Parris about English coaching. Hi, Inez. A warm welcome to the podcast. Thank you for making time to join us and share your views. To start the discussion, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this podcast. A little bit about myself. I am Inez Parris. I reside in Pune, been born and brought up in Mumbai, and I'm currently working as a trainer, an English language trainer. I have a total of 15 years of experience in this field where I have trained students from all across India as well as across the world to achieve their dreams of going overseas. So I train students for IELTS, that's International English Language Testing System, and similar English language proficiency tests.
Okay, that's great. How did you get into English coaching? Tell us a bit about your career trajectory and what made you settle with English coaching.
Oh, this started all by accident, of course. I had trained to work as a nurse. However, I did not pursue that as much as I would have liked at that time. However, when I was planning to move overseas for my career, that's when I had to appear for this test. And that's how I accidentally got into it when I scored really well. And I was invited to train other students for the same. And that's how I got into it. Of course, later I got myself certified by British Council, IDP, Pearson, and other international bodies to train as an English language trainer.
So tell us a bit about how your daily work looks like. What do you do exactly?
Oh, what I basically do is train students in small group or even individually. Currently, the classes are all in the online mode, all thanks to COVID. I wouldn't say thanks, but yes, that's one of the major reasons why everything's online. And that also gives me a wider clientele. I can work with students from different parts of the world. I train them online. It could start as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. So once I'm done with my household chores in the morning, that's when I start with my trainings, and it spans across the entire day. So flexibly, it gives me this flexibility when I'm working online. I can work for a few hours and then of course take a break and then continue that way. So my classes start right from 7 in the morning, and with breaks of course in between, it goes on until 9 p.m. So that's
Wow,
what my daily schedule is like.
that's a long day. So I guess it's challenging to work across the time zones, I think.
It's not much of a challenge, as in now I've kind of gotten used to it. It's more fun, I'd say. I enjoy myself working this way. Otherwise, when I typically had to teach in a class, it was just limited to people in the region, in the area. Like I mentioned, that this gives me the chance of speaking with students, interacting with students from all across the world, not just India. So working across time zones is also interesting, knowing what's happening over there, live instead of just watching it on the TV. I actually know what's happening in different parts of the world. So it's really nice. And my students have also been really accommodating. We work according to flexible schedules. So it works for both of us, the students as well as myself.
That's wonderful to hear. Basically, this training covers, you're not expecting the students to not have the basic knowledge. So they will have the basic knowledge, and you are trying to build the advanced or probably the mid-level knowledge, English knowledge to the students. So when you do that, what kind of challenges do you face when you upskill them from the basic knowledge to the higher level of knowledge?
Right. As you mentioned correctly, I do have to work across students of various levels and bring them up to various levels as well. For an average student, they might be all right, reaching up to the level of, say, a B1 on the CEFR scale. So a B1, there are 6 levels basically: A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. So students come with various requirements. For university studies, they need to get to that level of B1 or B2. So that's quite achievable. They can manage just fine. But then when students come with higher requirements, depending on the course that they have enrolled for, So then bring them up again, depending on what level they are at presently, and then training them up to that level. So yes, challenges would be up to their limitations as to when it comes to language. They have certain limitations where they can't get past that. And anyways, the training that I provide is for a very short duration of time. So that keeps me limited to not training them on everything, but really bringing them up to the level that is just required for them to get through this test. The surprising part is that the same students, when they go overseas, within a month's time, they start speaking really fluently because of having hands-on experience and daily conversations with people around them. So the same students end up doing really well.
Yeah, that's understandable. Nothing like real world experience. Let's say you are given a free hand. How would you like to transform the English coaching industry? So, what would you like to do to improve things?
Oh, this would start right from the school level, right from the junior level, where children at school must be made to understand the importance of the language and trained accordingly. Actually, when they're really young, they wouldn't understand the importance as such, but they must be trained in with the language. As we say, English is a universal language. It is used in almost all parts of the world. So, if more emphasis is laid on this right at the very beginning, that helps in building a strong foundation, and building something upwards from there would definitely be a task easier to achieve. If I had the opportunity or the free hand, as you mentioned, to transform English language training, it would start right from the foundation level itself and then work my way upwards, giving access to teachers and the right training to them in every part of the country, so that teachers all across have that kind of knowledge which they can impart to their students too. And of course, a regulatory body that regulates the way things work, so that everyone is at a standard level.
Interesting. I have seen a lot of teacher trainings happening in a private school that I encountered. They place a lot of emphasis on training the teachers properly, especially because they impart the education in English language. It's pretty interesting that you mentioned that point. You also mentioned about the regulatory bodies. I'm not sure how it works. Maybe you can give some more detail about what these regulatory bodies are and what they do and how to transform them.
This would be training the trainers themselves, teaching them, certifying them, getting them up to a level where which makes them capable of dealing with learners from different parts of the country or even the world. So when I talk about regulatory bodies, I mean, first of all, training them and then testing them on their knowledge, and that too not just when they begin training, but at regular intervals. Say, for example, every 3 months, re-certifying them, making sure that they live up and they continue to impart knowledge at the same level, if not higher. And of course, developing them as well, enhancing their knowledge so that they actually go up to a higher level too. So that's what I mean by regulating them, the way we have regulations for everything, making sure that they do not falter in their training. So maybe regulating their classes, somebody watching over their classes at regular intervals or maybe randomly, which makes sure that everyone stays at the level required to be an effective English language trainer.
That's pretty challenging, I would say, because you know how things work here. First of all, it is very challenging to maintain that level of rigor in regulating stuff
Mhm.
because the attitude seems to be chalta hai. So
Yeah.
second part would be to maintain that momentum or probably the discipline throughout, because that is also a challenging part that I have seen. But anyway, yes, it needs to be done if someone wants to maintain the standard of the education across the board. So a lot of things needs to be done and we need to work on them. Tell us a bit about your family who are all there and how do you balance your work and family time?
Oh, I live in a family of just the three of us, but the center of my world is definitely my daughter. She's 12 now, and bringing her up has always been my priority. For this reason, since the time she's been born, I've made sure to just be working certain hours so that I have all the time to take her out, get her to have various experiences of all kinds, expose her to the entire world, of course, in a protected manner. Yes, she is the one that my life revolves around.
When she's growing up right now, she might have her own opinions and she might want to do things on her own. How do you manage that?
Oh, she has a mind of her own. And at this age, she's just preteen. So that's why she has a lot of changes going on in her. What I really miss is her childhood when mama means everything. But then now, of course, she's finding her own identity. She's discovering that, exploring that. So, not challenges, I'd say, but then, yes, that would be something that I'm still working my way through, where I need to find a proper balance between guiding her as well as giving her that free hand. That's something that I've always wanted to give her the independence to make her own decisions. And now is the crucial time where she's making important decisions for herself, may it be related to studies or maybe the friend circle that she likes to be in. So, what I can do, I know there is limited that we can do. I wouldn't want to be overprotective about her, however, be protective at the same time, while giving her a free hand to do things her way. Let her make choices of her own while guiding her towards the right way. So, yes, she's quite a handful, but then I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that's true. And it's a learning process for us also as parents. Apart from work, what do you do, like hobbies or interests or leisure activities of any sort?
When it comes to leisure activities, I have been an avid reader throughout. However, not as much as I'd like to be anymore because of all the devices that we have, may it be our OTT platforms or our social media handles. So that also takes some of my time. However, on OTTs, because of this, I have come to realize another liking that I have for web series and particularly of the legal genre. So I love legal dramas. That I think that comes from the fact that the language that is used in these legal dramas is really interesting and, of course, of an advanced level. So I think that goes with what I work, in the area that I work. So that's something I really enjoy as well. Apart from that, of course, cooking for my family, cooking all kinds of foods. We love eating. We're absolute foodies. So whatever we like to eat, if we eat something outside, I'd definitely like to come home and try. And one thing that I do make a point to do is never to repeat the same recipe more than twice at home. So even if it's the same vegetable, say for example, okra, lady fingers, we call it. So I wouldn't try it more than twice in the same way. I tried something different. So that keeps me on my toes. That keeps it interesting as well at home. And people, my family enjoys that.
That's great. Talking about books, what kind of genre do you usually prefer?
Oh, typically fiction. So while growing up, of course, I was a big fan of the Harry Potter series. That's something that I actually read, from the cover right till the end. Uh, Apart from that, now I've gotten a little bit into non-fiction as well. So some self-help books or any interesting title that I come across. So currently at my bedside also, I have about 4 or 5 books. However, I'd say I'm guilty that I haven't been reading. As I mentioned previously, I've not been reading as much. I have about 4 or 5 books that I still need to give a good read.
Okay, so what kind of self-help books are you reading right now?
Oh, currently there's this beautiful book by this monk, Sir Gaur Gopal Das. It's called Life's Amazing Secrets. So that's the book that I'm actually finding my way through. Apart from that, there is a book by this Buddhist monk, Ajahn Brahm. Unfortunately, I don't remember the title. That's something I still have ordered, but I haven't received it yet. So that's another one that I'd like to read. So the kind of thoughts, it's basically the thinking. We need to keep evolving. I like to work on myself. So that's why I like to read these kind of books that just opens me up to new possibilities as far as thinking is concerned, the way of life, how to deal with situations that we come across in our day-to-day lives. So these are some of the books that I am currently reading.
Interesting. So it's a blend of philosophy and how to deal with life is what you are interested in. Do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
monks will be able to provide the practical tips that we need on a daily basis?
Oh, the kind of monks that I follow, yes, definitely. They are not I wouldn't say, the traditional monks, but yes, kind of those. They're more the contemporary ones who understand that today's world, the kind of approach we need to have in today's world has to be something that blends the situations that we face currently, as well as still keeping in mind or staying rooted to what we really believe in our beliefs. So these are the monks that I'm sure they definitely do provide me with valuable lessons.
Interesting. I hear that you have a dog. Can you tell us about the dog?
Oh my God, yes, he is my baby. He's Bonnie. He's a black Labrador, 2 years old now, and he's absolutely adorable. To be honest, I've never been a pet person. Not that I hated them, but I wasn't ever planning on having one. I wasn't really close to any pets, so I'd like them from a distance. But this boy has absolutely changed, converted me totally, and I am madly in love with him. He is the baby of the house. I could do anything for him. So he's just been so loving. I think this started off just because my daughter wanted a dog. But then, when I went through an accident personally, this was a bike accident last year, and while I was recovering, he actually used to stop my physiotherapist from trying to bend my knee too much, or because he would hear me scream, in pain. He's been absolutely adorable, and that melted my heart totally. So that's why, yes, he is one of the most important parts of my life. Of course, side by side with my daughter.
Dogs are lovely, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
So when your friends come home, how does the dog treat them?
Labradors are meant to be absolute family dogs, so he's really nice. And my friends need to deal with the fact that he doesn't go anywhere. So my friends, thankfully, are also all dog lovers. So I've never had to really tie him up or put him in another room or anything like that. So we have a wonderful time all together, my friends, their kids. So yes, there's been no trouble whatsoever.
Wonderful. Tell us about your friends. Are they the English coaching people or?
Oh, I have friends from all kind of backgrounds. Some of them, of course, have been friends of friends' friends. Some of them are English language trainers like myself, colleagues from work, or friends who I have met during various workshops. But the ones closest to me, one of them is a school friend, another one is from Chennai. She's one of my closest friends. And then there's one who lives in Sri Lanka. I have another one right in Pune. So I have friends from all over, and even from all different businesses or from different backgrounds. So, and it's just, encounters that I've had with them. However, they've just stood by me throughout whatever I've done. These are my strong pillars who have always stayed by me.
Do you want to share any kind of tip or advice for the people who are pursuing their English training in general?
I'd say most importantly is having a clear objective, planning what you want to do, and then sticking to it. There's no harm in always getting help. The fact is that today students have the opportunity of learning by themselves. YouTube has become a teacher, but then knowing the right places where you can get help. There is so much available, but however, we couldn't be sure which one to get help from, which is the most genuine of all sources. So once you know that, of course, as I mentioned, make a plan, stick to it, and get the right help needed. Never hesitate to ask for help.
Thank you so much for spending time with us, and I wish you all the best in your work and future endeavors. Keep well
Yes,
and do the best. Thank you.
my pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye.
That was a great podcast with Inez Parris. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.